and Horsham District time. It's always an opportunity to catch up on the farm with Big Peter Weir. And Weary, how are you?
Yeah, pretty good, Wayne. And yeah, might as well start with the farm talk first because there's some good news there and not so much good news on the footy side of things. But as we speak, the rain's just settling in nicely and the forecast is for it to rain all day. So hopefully as of tonight, there's a nice bit of rain in the rain gauges around the Wimmera Mallee to tip out and measure and record.
Yeah, I think that's a really true thing to reflect on because, I mean, we talk about our sport here each week and how important it is, and we're just really missing the fact we can't get this final series happening. But people across our district are working, they're doing their jobs, they're building things, they're making things, they're growing things, and ultimately it's our vocation and our work in life and the importance of that. So that rain gauge, that's crucial, isn't it?
Oh, it's definitely one of the best jobs on the farm, man. Driving around through the puddles and checking them. And, yeah, agriculture is obviously a big part of the country areas. And if you're not working directly on farms, you're usually associated with farming people, and then the ongoing effects of different economies in town. When the farmers are doing well, a bit of money flies around and all the businesses do well as a result, and just improves the community spirit and, at a time where that's much needed.
So, Weary, would you be the first farmer that I've ever recorded to admit to it's a good season?
I think so, yeah. I was a bit worried yesterday. If you had rang yesterday when it was 35 degrees and blowing a northerly, I might not have answered the same way, but I think this rain could really set up the spring. And, with forecast for a wet spring, I'm pretty optimistic what the crops can do from now on.
Oh, that's good to hear. It's a little bit like the fellow that walks into the land agent and they say to him, it's been a good season. He says, not a good season till it's in the bank. So that's about right, isn't it, Weary?
No, that's very true, Slow Man. There's a lot of things that can go wrong between now and then, but yeah, you do your best to try and mitigate those things.
Yes, good stuff. Well, let's get to some of what's happening. And outside of the season end, there was an interesting post. The Geelong Footy League is in a similar situation to you in that it's a top six situation. And the scenario has been put forward that we still can get the 3 weekends of a top six in, and that can occur on either the 11th for the first round, the 18th, and then the 25th, or even if we didn't start till the 18th, it could be the 18th, the 25th, and the 3rd. So is there still some optimism that you can read for those that are in Horsham District football and netball?
Yeah, I was starting to get very worried finishing 5th on the ladder, how it might turn out for us. But yeah, there's been an example in the Geelong District League where the first and second teams would just go straight into preliminary finals, and then the final series, for instance, if it was put into the District League, would be as it was going to be for the first week. So Kalkee would play Japarta Rainbow in the senior footy, and Harrow would play Natty Muck in the other game, and then the winners of those two games, Flowman, would go into the preliminary finals to meet the top two teams. So, for instance, if Japarta Rainbow were good enough to beat Kalkee, they'd go on to play Narrabri Quantong in a preliminary final, and likewise, say if Harrow did beat Natty Muck, they would then meet Rapanyup in the other preliminary final. So that's a way that we could get 6 teams through in a final series over the 3 weeks, and a fair way, in my opinion, of doing so.
Yeah, I actually like it myself too. When I saw it, I thought, yeah, that says exactly what it should. It is very similar, really, to the second round of the AFL Grand Final series, in a sense. So I can see some benefits in that for everyone. Okay, the kids, if we weren't to get out on the field, just say Daniel Andrews didn't make the announcement next Tuesday or the following Tuesday or Wednesday, but people can go back and train this week. No crowds, but you can start playing finals on Saturday. If that announcement didn't happen and we were starting to look down the gurgler of maybe no football at a senior level, would there still be junior competitions into October?
Yeah, I think the league's made it a real focus for the junior competition to keep going, and maybe that will extend the timeline. And I think the junior kids would be happy to play right up till Christmas, man. So there won't be any issues with enthusiasm there, but it'll just be the complications of running into cricket finals and cricket season and tennis season starting up and different things like that. But I mean, with the focus there to extend the junior season and try and get them a final series, I'm sure something will open up for that to occur later on.
Yeah, I don't think we're there yet, but I think there's a fair chance that we can still get out on the park and still a chance of getting that top 6. And I think if the league were to put in place what that Geelong Football League system, I reckon it would get us done and get it done within that 3-week period. And I know it's been looked at by other leagues who've got a top 6 too, in New South Wales and so forth. So a very, very interesting one. Overall, is the mood across your club at Japan Rainbow, is it still strong, Peter?
Oh, it is. We're trying to stay strong, but yeah, it is a bit flattening. And as of today, there was another 200 cases announced in Victoria, with 100 of those being mystery cases. So there is that side of things where you just think maybe this isn't all going to happen. But for instance, during the week, our senior groups split up into 3 groups just online. So there's a 4-group, midfield, back, and we're just having a chat amongst ourselves, and we've set some little goals for ourselves in terms of fitness and just trying to keep people focused because, yeah, usually you'd love a chance to freshen up for a few weeks before a final series. But, yeah, there's obviously a very different feeling going into this one. But if we did get the chance to play a final against Kalkee and it's 30 degrees, I'm sure we'd be more benefited from just these couple of weeks, just keeping each other going and just keeping a little bit of fitness there in the tank.
Oh, yeah, good thinking. Okay, best and fairest for the competition. Monday night, they've decided to go to a Zoom online type team viewer for the best and fairest award for the Horsham District footballers. In your mind, who do you see across maybe the top clubs, or even who might be the ultimate and overall winner of the men's competition?
Yeah, it should be a good night, and yeah, with only 12 or 11 rounds this season, it could be, a pretty low count. But I think, someone like Simon Hobbs, who's a real standout player through the midfield and goes forward and kicks goals, I'm sure he would have had 4 or 5 best on grounds for the year, as long as someone like a Deke Roberts doesn't take too many votes off him. I reckon he'll be right up there and well deserved, because he's been a good player amongst the District League and Women's League for a long time now. And the other one's Elliot Kelly out at Rapaniup. He probably hasn't had the votes in the past because Rapaniup just haven't won enough games, slow man. But I think this year, with them being on top of the table, he should figure in the counting a bit more, and maybe as an outsider, not so much an outsider because he's a classy player, but forwards seem to struggle to get the votes. But I think Simon Close is just a standout half forward, and he would have kicked his 40 or 50 goals, and he still gets through the midfield a little bit. So I think the umpires should definitely notice his work because everyone else does.
You certainly do. What about from Japan Rainbow, the Storm, your club? You've got Jay Kirkwood, who's been magnificent up forward, had to really take the shoulder of responsibility since P. Weir has just not been in the side.
No, Jay's been a standout. He's been a great recruit and one of the better recruits the club's had for a long time now. He kicks goals up forward, and I would have loved to have seen him play in a final series, so I hope he gets his chance. Probably through the midfield, Scotty Driscoll would be our best chance of getting votes, but I think he might give the umpires a bit too much feedback to be too friendly with him on the vote card, flow man. But yeah, he's definitely had an impact for us through the centre of the ground.
Ash Clugston's kicked some goals too, and is always a dominant player and one to watch. Maybe Simon Close too, if you're looking at other sides from Harrow, could be up there amongst the kicked a lot of goals, but is a towering influence in that club. Well, it's no footy on the field. We'll have a bit of off the field to talk about next week with the medal, and hopefully we'll be back on the field next weekend. It may not look good, but we're going to keep positive, and it is raining, Weary.
Yeah, the rain's definitely a positive, and let's hope over the weekend, or at least early next week, the board gives us some real direction, because it is hard. It's supposed to be preliminary final this weekend, so it would be good to know what they are thinking and how they do plan. And there's not too many variations now. It's either we're going to be playing or we're not. So it would be good to have a bit of a pathway to give the clubs and their players some direction moving into the rest of the year. Whether that be good or bad news, we sort of need to know what's going on, Flo, man.
I certainly think so. It's a tough time, but it's good to have your report, and thanks for joining us, Peter. I'll let you get back to the odd jobs that have to be done around the farm, and we'll talk next week.
Thanks very much.